Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Okay, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Gareth and I'm with... Hey, hold on a minute. That's Laura Solon, the award-winning comedian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Emily, our regular host. This is going to be bad news for the guys who watch on the webcam. No
How dare you?
No disrespect, but she just does the show in lingerie on a
right.
regular basis. Yes, Emily is in Mauritius. It's going to be bootylicious in Mauritius. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Frank Skinner.
And thanks for helping us out. And Emily will listen to this at some point, just to check how good you were.
Okay.
So don't be too good or you'll break her heart.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I don't know. You're going to be good today or very good, Gareth, would you say?
I'm going to go for very good.
Oh, that's good.
We've had a text straight off the bat today. Morning, Frank. Just wanted to say you were on fire last night on TV.
No, that was a Greek policeman.
Oh.
That's... thanks for that. It's lovely.
That's from Baz driving up the M1 to see my boys for the
Are
weekend.
you allowed to text when you're driving up the M1, Baz?
Oh,
Well, now we've started with controversy.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you something happened to me this morning. It's about 7:20. I was as funny as I've ever been in my whole life. And I continued to be funny till about 7:38. Then I dropped to the floor with a massive nosebleed. And I think that might have gone for... If only that had happened sometime after 7 o'clock, we would have had Absolute Radio Gold. I say Radio Gold because what we actually got this week was Radio Silver, which... we were at the Sony Awards.
Yeah.
You weren't there, Laura.
No, I
obviously,
wasn't
because
at all.
We can't just bring in stand-ins. I mean, for God's sake. And we were very excited that we were going to win the big award for
Yes.
Best Entertainment Show, but we didn't.
No.
But Johnny Vaughan won it, and I really liked Johnny Vaughan. So you know what? I felt okay about it. I also felt okay about it because I think the award was given... I think it was about 11 and a half hours into the ceremony, by which case I wouldn't have cared if they'd have brought in 3 tigers and released them into the room. So I wasn't that bothered about it.
Well, you were on your third nosebleed by then.
I know, yeah. I don't know what's happening with me, actually. And I find also my hat size has gone down 3.5. Do you think my brain could be dissolving? Something's going on there. Anyway, we won the Silver Award for Best Entertainment.
But that's second. That's nearly as good as gold.
I'm calling it Best Loser.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about how I never win anything.
No, well, I think you were probably the bad luck charm.
Yeah,
Well, you were our Jonah. I say you were our Jonah. If
You did keep trying to throw me overboard.
Yeah,
I wondered why that was happening.
if you find I'm squinting at you, by the way, I sat before the show. I arrived at the Absolute Studios, Golden Square, London, a large conurbation in the southeast of England. And I sat, and where I sat was nice, and it was fine. And then the sun came out, and I was completely dazzled. In my conversation, we just we look at the papers and that in the morning. I was completely dazzled, but I didn't move. For some reason, I didn't move, and now I can barely see either of you.
You've got retina damage.
Yeah, I sat in bright... I've even got those things, those creases around your eyes when you've been sunbathing, and there's like white laughter lines around your eyes. I've even got that. Why didn't I move? I've actually got a blinding headache now from sitting facing straight into the sun like a cat, like some sort of paralysed cat that's gone there to slumber and then he's stuck.
Well, as I was leaving the Sony Awards,
I like
this
this.
is something I was very excited about.
This is a funny thing happened to me on my way to the theatre.
As I was leaving, I ran into Simon Mayo, who is one of my...
what do you drive?
He's one of my radio heroes. I
know
like
he
his
is,
show
yeah.
with Mark Kermode. I also wanted to talk to Adam and Joe, but I didn't. That's the second.
How many other radio presenters have surnames that are also condiments?
Ian Ketchup.
I don't
Norman
know.
Pickles.
Louise Pepper, actually. Oh, you might not know. She's more of a producer. You know Louise Pepper, Emma? No. Emma knows everyone in radio. Can I point out, by the way, that Emma, our producer, won a gold. She won a proper gold award. And I have to say, didn't come back to our table after.
She shook the dust off her feet.
She did, Jenny, in a fabulous old biblical fashion. She won the gold for what was it called, Emma?
Absolute Blur.
Absolute Blur, which was a documentary about Oasis.
Bad
No, hold on.
photography.
Yes, yeah, it was. It was a documentary about going blind.
Anyway, I went up to Simon Mayo and said, "Hello, I think you're brilliant. I really like your show with Mark Kermode."
And he said, "Are you all right, mate?" And he got you by the throat.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, thank you. I like your show as well."
He never said that.
He said that?
He does. That's what you say at the Sonus, isn't it, Laura? I mean, we all...
I say that to everyone. Yeah, I love your show.
I don't think Simon Mayo would tell a lie.
No.
No, well, I agree with that, actually. I think he is a basically an honest man. I see it more as politeness. And Chris Evans hosted the evening. And I tell you what it made me realise is how jokes slow things down. Because he rattled through, didn't he? And it made me feel... my whole life would have been much brisker if only I didn't have a sense of humour.
Saturday morning!
We should congratulate Christian O'Connell, by the way, who did win a proper gold Sony Award for Best Competition, which was Who's Calling Christian, of course. Mm. And also Richard Dawkins, who got silver for Who You Calling a Christian. His rather confrontational quiz, which I don't like myself. I find it smarmy in the extreme. Our guest is Tim Vine today. Who's a very, very funny comedian. The King of the Pond, I think we can call him that.
Yes.
So, looking forward to that.
Pun King.
Pond King.
The Pun King.
Oh, you. Peaches Geldof was in the papers this morning. I think it was you that spotted this, wasn't it?
I couldn't not spot it.
Well, I spotted it, but I didn't mention it.
Oh yeah, that.
What does that make me?
Yeah, that's what Ferdinand de Magellan of America, isn't it? After Columbus got all the. Oh yeah, I just saw it. I forgot. I didn't think it was worth even talking about. Yeah, I think it was Ferdinand de Magellan. I don't know. I get them mixed up. The brothers.
Magellan.
Pardon?
Magellan or Magellan?
Let's call the whole thing Discoverer. Yes. So yes, Peaches Geldof is in the. Where is she at? She's in Hollywood, I think.
She's at a do.
Yes, she's at a do. There's no question. But I'm going to find the picture
on the internet.
It's on the internet, but I think there's something wrong with my computer. Yes, it says that the headline I've got is "Hanging Out at the Peach." Right.
Doesn't quite work. I think
like
Tim Vine could probably come up with a better one.
I bet we'll ask him that, shall we? Hanging out at the peach, and we won't have this as a phone in because it's a nip slip item, is what it is.
A nip slip.
You know, they're called nip slips, and she's got quite not a very nice dress on, really, as far as I can tell. But it's one of those. It's the top of it has an element of dungaree, a dungaree top. I'm calling it, and she's wearing no brassiere. I think you can guess the rest, ladies and gentlemen.
You can see her boobie.
Oh, don't say that.
You can see 90% of her boob.
Now, two people have said it. It's 18 minutes. What is it? It's 19 minutes past 8 in the morning. There are children now saying to their parents, "Boobie, what's that?" Lamar.
Children know what boobies are.
They don't.
Yeah.
Not in our house. I must let them out that cupboard. So, she's a socialite, according to this article.
Really? Is that one of the tribes of Israel?
I believe it is. That would account for the strange...
Is that her official job?
Yeah, she's a socialite. I think she's a model, to be fair. She looks a bit like Jordan on this picture, but with a thinner head. If you can imagine if Jordan's head was caught in lift doors.
I had done that many times.
And kept there for maybe 2 weeks till the skull started to elongate. That's what she looks like. I'm not saying she's not attractive, but that's what she looks like. She looks, if Jordan had fallen into the Thames and been dragged out after, say, 2 to 3 days...
She'd washed up on the shore.
Well, she's
what a lovely way of describing a young lady.
It looks like she's entwined in weed because of her tattoo.
A fisherman's net.
Yeah, but she's got spiralling leaves going up her legs and stuff, as if she's been rescued. Maybe that's the look. But as you pointed out, Laura, she looks very much like either Eugenie or Beatrice, the princesses.
Yeah, she looks a bit like them, face-wise, not boob-wise.
No, I've never even... I don't think the royals...
She looks a bit like... I don't know why, only because I saw a recent picture of one of the royals running that the marathon.
Yes.
And I thought they look a bit similar.
Yeah, I don't know what they're up to, Beatrice and Eugenie. They haven't really joined in with the tabloid whirl, have they? But I like their big royal faces. I think there's something... I like that, though. There's something... I think they're...
Generous.
Yeah, they
Generous
seem...
faces.
I warm to them when I see them. I love... It reminds me of the carnival when I was a child and people would wear enormous papier-mâché heads, sort of grotesque, enormous heads. And as a child, I wasn't afraid of those. I saw them as something they brought joy when they came to our town.
Got faces that would look good in an oil painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Royalty needs to look good in an oil, and they say, "Can you just make the head a little bit smaller?
A royal
Take a bit off the face."
Well, Peaches, as I believe she's known, is
That's her name.
yeah, she's got a lot of excess flesh at the armpit. I'm guessing that her arms are telescopic in some way. There seems to be extra skin there that she could reach maybe 20 to 30 feet if she needed to.
It's because she has to be dragged out of pubs a lot and clubs.
Still holding onto the
The
bar.
handle.
Under the arms.
Yeah.
People have to drag her out under the arms.
Oh, I
That's
see,
what
there's
it
padding,
is.
there's extra padding.
Yeah, that's what it's for. She's
evolved.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, once again, if Richard Dawkins is listening, it turns out he was absolutely right.
Absolute Radio.
I've received an email from Rob Walsh,
All right.
and it says, I've just been to the recording of Frank's TV show and thought Gareth was really funny.
Oh.
Now, just a minute. Just a minute. What manner of a review is that? I went to Mallorca for my holidays and I thought Spain was...
I have
Anyway.
to concentrate on the positives.
I particularly found his fridge song catchy.
Ah.
Is there any chance the listeners could have a sample? Well, you can certainly have a sample. In fact, the bottle's in the post. Anyone else wants to come and see Gareth? Why don't you come to my TV show? Oh, well, that's fine. I do like the fridge song. It's really very excellent indeed.
Thank
But
you.
the thing is, if you do it on here, if you did it on here, it would then be podcasted, and then it would be in the hands of everyone. You'd never make any money out of it.
No, well, I think that's a given.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's a marmoset. Sorry, a small monkey just went past the window. I don't think it was a gibbon. It could have been. I can't even see it now.
I finished my recordings this week, so at some point,
Are you releasing an album?
an EP. Yes.
An EP?
The
He's
song-
releasing a gibbon. I think it's already got out of its own. I don't think it was a gibbon. I don't. You put that idea in my head. It was a marmoset. I can tell by the ears.
It's Piccadilly, so it probably was a marmoset.
Is it Piccadilly? Or have you said that because you want to sound all London on the radio? Oh, it's Piccadilly and now mistaken, Mr. Holmes. Someone thought Russell Brand had come in and got a bit overexcited. So, speaking of pets and animals, Laura, you have a bird of prey.
A dead bird of prey.
Yeah.
I purchased...
Trapped in the chimney.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting necklace.
I purchased an owl from the European taxidermy champion. Gold medal.
Gold medal.
Yeah. And you need...
Is it a speed thing? The
Yeah, I
European
don't know how they
taxidermy?
judge it. I
Right.
don't know how you get on the podium. I don't know
think-
whether it's like to the original bird or whether it's speed or
I'm
whether
guessing
it's...
that like 3 taxidermists go on stage and then animals are released. And then it's how quickly you can get through the whole process.
Sprint
with
taxidermy.
just a penknife and sand.
Yeah, and some sellotape. But you have to have a licence for it. That's the law.
To be a taxidermist, I think that's fair.
No, to own certain pieces of taxidermy, bats, dormice, and owls.
To own a dead animal, you have to have a license.
Yeah, I think it's to check that they're not just going around. You know, there's not some kind of a dodgy taxidermist going around just killing rare species and selling them.
Well, I think that's good that that's checked upon. But you have to have the license, not
Yeah,
him.
I have to be licensed to owl.
Okay. And
dead
you,
owl.
you have the owl.
I've
already.
I've got the owl. I just need this certificate that I can send off and get the license.
If
Why
you-
have you got a stuffed owl? What is it for?
Just general
Company.
use. General use.
More company than anything.
I'm putting it in my next show, in my next comedy show. I want it
Right.
stuffed down.
But is that just to make it tax deductible?
Yeah.
No, it's to make it taxidermical.
Taxidermical. I don't have a collection of anything, so I'm going to start.
With
I've got
owls?
a stuffed rabbit, an owl.
Oh, really?
So I could have a museum of limited natural history if my comedy career goes wrong.
I have the head and shoulders of an impala. A lot of women have told me that.
I didn't know they used shampoo.
Yeah, it was...
Is he called Vlad?
It is called Vlad, yes. And it's on a plaque on my... not the whole thing, but it's the... What would you call it? Because they don't have shoulders, do they?
Withers. They're called withers.
Are they called withers?
No.
What,
Yes.
the shoulders of an impala are called
Well,
withers?
horses have withers.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying animal parts.
I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's what I have, and I have that because a friend of mine moved to America, and she said to me, "Will you look after my impala? Because I'll never get it. I won't be able to take it abroad
customs.
because at customs they'll demand to see the license for it." And I thought she was messing around. It is a very strange phenomenon. She had 2 bats sent by eBay, two stuffed bats in a frame, and when it arrived it was broken. Imagine her dismay. And she put it down, and the cat ate both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we'll leave you on that story. That's a bit... I think I'll
So
take things down a
The
bit.
phone-in is Laura going to prison for not having an
Yeah.
owl licence.
Well, I think the phoning is what happens if you don't have an owl
I think you have
licence.
to carry it with you at all times.
What, the owl?
And the licence.
You'll be some sort of Long John Silver. The night shift for Long John Silver as an owl instead of a parrot.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about the love between... Have we had any texts in on 81215, by the way? On 81215, I say?
We had one saying, try Amerigo Vespucci, being the first to spot America, from Peter Nolbury.
Oh, they think Americo Vespucci.
Amerigo.
Amerigo.
Yeah, yes. I think he marry Sally Round and become a merry-go-round. That was rubbish. Can I withdraw that?
No, and a man doesn't take the woman's name usually.
They
so-
did then, silly.
Did they?
Yes,
Oh.
in 16th century Spain they did.
Oh, didn't know that.
Ridiculous. Actually, he sounds Italian. I think he went by scooter. Oh, that's good then. So Americo Vespucci, that's our current term. I think there was a theory that the Chinese or someone... Was it the Chinese who discovered him? That can't be right, can it?
No. Chris. Also, we had another email.
Okay.
It says Chris Evans more listeners than Wogan, from Greg.
Oh, that's a bit of a retort, is it?
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Okay. Adolf
Basically,
Hitler, more followers than the Mahatma Gandhi. Fair? Discuss.
Hitler did once say that 1,000 blockheads do not make one intelligent man. Which is
Yeah, he was at Legoland, I think, wasn't he, when he said that. He came out with a lot of Lego-based quotes. He was a great builder. So, yes, if you've got anything you want to text us about on 81215, because we just, we love you. We were talking about, when you go out with someone or you live or even marry someone. See, I've put in now the verb live as if you live someone, which of course you don't, you live with them. But it got too complicated in the middle of the sentence.
You
And I
lost all your prepositions.
I thought
in
I'll keep
there.
running. I'll forget the
I think if you hadn't flagged it up, people wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. I don't want them to think I haven't noticed. That's what I don't. I'd rather drag myself down than have some smart Alec think he didn't even know he did that. Well, I did do it. Get over it. So when people, like, for example, I'll give you I think the ultimate example is I knew I used to teach this course for the long-term unemployed, and this guy turned up and he was talking about at home. He said his wife ate her meals wearing industrial ear protectors
wow.
because she couldn't stand the noise he made when he ate. And he wasn't joking. It made me realise what goes on behind closed doors, eh? As I think Charlie Rich once asked. After that course, I used to walk down the street and I used to look at every front door and think no one knows what goes on. Every home is a secret world with its own rules and norms.
It's that thing about when you really like someone and really get on with them, like you deeply love them, but you can also be deeply irritated by them. Like my closest friends really annoy me.
Yes. What, both of them?
Yeah.
Well, one of them's been dead since 1997. Have you got a licence for him yet, by the way? I find him a brooding presence on that armchair, personally.
You leave him alone.
Okay, I wouldn't anywhere near him.
My mate Tom, who was my best man, he can go to sleep anywhere at any time. He can just go straight off to sleep.
Is he narcoleptic?
I don't think so. I think he's just able to just go to sleep at any point. And this really gets on my nerves, partly because I share a room with him quite a lot.
Do you find it tends to coincide with any anecdote?
With you being around him?
Yeah. When a Gareth dote is told.
Is he really sleeping?
I've seen one of Gareth's anecdotes take down a bolting horse at 150 yards. It just dropped to the ground. It's absolutely. It's on. So I have my. So shall we call him Sleeping Tom? Shall we call him Sleeping Tom? That's what I'm asking. Sleeping Tom. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
that's a good pun.
Yeah. And you hate the fact that he can sleep.
Yeah, and he would just go to sleep at any point, and I find it really difficult to get to sleep, so that's annoying. But
It is
also, and I
annoying
would just
when
look
he
at him asleep and just hate him.
They're smug. People are asleep. If people who can sleep on planes, I can never sleep on planes. Anyone who sleeps on planes is intensely annoying.
I find the wings slippery.
Do you know Gareth has wings? Yeah, he's. Yes. My girlfriend has a habit of leaving this really annoying thing. Is she, those, I don't even know what the technical term is, but what are those elasticated circles that women put around their hair in order to construct a ponytail?
Hairbands.
Yeah, but hairband is like a hard structure, isn't it, with a
That's
clip?
a hairband.
Oh, it is. It's like a little elasticated circle. They're all over the flat, those things. All over the flat.
Maybe she's trying to cover up rings from tea mugs that she's left around the flat.
That's a good idea.
Which is a more annoying habit. What she's doing is leaving them, and so you won't notice the stain.
She must be leaving tea mugs on the bed as well.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, and they've all got a bit of hair in them. Always a bit of hair. As if my world has got all these hairy holes into the universe. Hairy holes.
Hairy holes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
You can text us on 81215.
So we've had a text already from... well, it says, good morning,
I've had
Frank,
a text
Laura,
already.
Gareth.
The show is 50 minutes old.
Already?
Is it that desperate that we can still use the word already?
It's actually an email. It's from Nick in Detroit. I always...
Nathan Detroit?
Nick in South Detroit. From that...
Sounding more like detritus.
Those hair thingies are called scrunchies if they have some thick material on them. The plain elastic bands are called elastic bands.
They're not called plain elastic, because they do have material. A scrunchie is one of those that has quite a lot of material.
Yes.
Sort of folded.
They're an 80s thing, scrunchies.
Are they?
They're not seen so much these days.
Well, I don't know, but the ones that my girlfriend uses, they have material. They're not just an elastic band, but they
They're
are...
not elastic bands. That would be a bit sad if your girlfriend had to use elastic bands to tie her hair back.
If I found elastic bands all over the house, I would think there was wads of ready cash.
Well, she's practising to make a really big elastic band ball.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit 80s as well, isn't it?
Could be a postman if they're those red ones.
They're not. They're those things that women put around.
Yeah.
It's got to be a proper name.
The hairbands, the hair ties or hairbands. That's what they're called.
It can't be a hair tie. A hair tie is something you'd have to tie, and they obviously don't have to tie that. Don't be ridiculous, Laura. Do you think I've asked you on here to be ridiculous? Well, I suppose in one respect
that's my job, and you get off my territory.
You're not supposed to be ridiculous. You're supposed to be slightly absent-minded. Did you forget?
Oh, I forgot, yeah.
That's your special power.
Yeah, it is. If you were a superhero...
Slightly absent-minded, man.
You'd be not there, man. I didn't like that pause, you see. That's why we only got the silver in the Saturdays.
Don't blame not there, man.
I say that's why we only got the silver. That's what they said when they announced our award. With galloping. They added galloping. They didn't just... Yes. Okay. See what we haven't done this morning.
Saturday morning!
Oh, that's much better, isn't it? Okay, so look, we were talking about things that... You're married, Laura.
I am married. I've been married for, over a year. Well, I've been together with my husband for 10 years, but married for...
Well, you haven't been together with your husband since I've been your husband for...
No, I do.
Does he have annoying habits?
He takes really long to order in restaurants, which really annoys me. But I think I probably do more annoying things to him, because I work from home, and I think that the person who doesn't work from home is intensely annoyed by the person who works from home because they leave...
Oh, yeah,
mess.
and you're still in your PJs, I suppose.
Yeah, also, when I open letters or post, I leave them where I've just opened them. Oh. So there's like a paper trail, and he refers to it in public. He says, Laura leaves piles of crap around the flat, which, you know, misconstrued.
That can mislead. So you open a letter and then you leave that exactly where you've opened it. I like that. There's a historical element, so you'll always know where you opened that letter.
I know exactly. It's where I last saw it. Like, I leave it. I think, right, I've opened that. I'll deal with that in a minute. I leave it there. So it's just covered in paper or tiny flat. Because
only the other day I opened a premium bonds receipt. I'd won £25. Don't congratulate me. The moment's gone. But you see, what I did is I pocketed that. I think, well, I'll deal with that later. And now looking back, I can't quite remember where in the flat I opened that. And you see, that's like, you know when people say, where were you when Kennedy died? Well, I know that. But when people say to me, where were you when you opened that...
Grassy Knoll.
Grassy Knoll, I was out with him. He's a nice bloke, but full of chlorophyll.
And we've had an explosion on the text already.
Oh, God, I wonder what that was.
It's called a bobble. Another one, they're called hair bobbles.
Bobbles?
Mike from Birmingham, they're called bobbles.
They can also be called...
It's called hair bobble, Frank, all around my house.
Why are they all from men?
Glenn in Lincoln, they are called bobbles.
Oh, God.
Guys, they're called bobbles.
Men are quite annoyed by this.
I don't think they're all called hair bobbles.
Are they all from men, these things?
Well,
it's a hair go-go, Frank.
Hair go-go and everything?
It's a hair go-go.
It's a hair go... They're not called hair go-go.
It's a hair go-go, it's a hair bobble, it's a scrunchy
hairband.
This is like what's called my blog.
I don't think there is a word for them. I think we should invent one.
No, but clearly it is bobbles. Why would everyone keep sending in bobbles?
Because a bobble is like a round thing, like a bobble hat. It's only a bobble if it's got a bobble on it.
A hat is a round thing. In whose house? No, I'm going with that. That's what we know what they're called now. They're called bobble. Someone's put a sign in that says moving. Is that because I've been moving or I've stopped moving? Or are we talking about... you know that Russell Crowe got interviewed this week by Mark Lawson, and he said, with the accent that you use for Robin Hood, it's a little bit Irish, isn't he? And Russell Crowe said, you've got dead ears, mate. You've seriously got dead ears if you think that's an Irish accent. And Mark Lawson said, how do you mean dead ears? That my ears aren't in some way inanimate, or are they X in some way? Or should I refer to them as my late ears? Russell Crowe got irate. Yeah. Anyway, moving, I'm guessing, is the title of a song, so I suppose I'm supposed to press that now. Because I drive the desk, but I do it by a series of written notes that say, play the next song, idiot, and stuff like that. Well, they say idiot since Emma won the Gold Award, and it's become rather too grand for this show. When I say $2,000, that's how much he's demanding now.
Do you be go-go?
Now, what's happened this morning is, you know, that we've just got completely out of control. We said, wouldn't it be good to have a phone in about things you find annoying about your partner? And that would be absolutely rock the whole show. So my thing that I found annoying was the fact that my girl leaves these little elasticated circular things that
just
you put around your hair.
Just started it all up again.
Yeah. So I thought now people are sending loads of funny, annoying things. But no, because I didn't know the name of it, the phoning, now the people have decided that the phoning is what is the name of those elasticated things that girls make a ponytail with.
Warwick on the way to Devon, scrunchies to hold hair. Martin from Leeds, they're called hair bubbles. My girlfriend used to leave them around the house and she had a skinhead. I later found out she is now with another woman, and they were her hair bubbles.
Oh,
that's tragic.
That reminds me of when a woman I was with found an ankle bracelet in the bed. And I said, I've told the cleaner loads of times not to leave stuff you know, jewellery and that around the house.
How would you accidentally leave an ankle bracelet in
I know it's hard. I was imagining maybe she was dusting the light bulb,
All right.
slipped, and as the friction of the ankle against the sheet tore off the ankle with that ankle bracelet. Anyway, those were in my bad days.
I like that you had a backstory, though. That's quite a commitment.
Yeah, but I don't feel good about it. So, can we just decide, what are they called, those elasticated? What is the tight elastic circle next to a ponytail? Don't answer that.
Well, Wendy says hair bubbles used to have 2 plastic balls on them.
That's what they were called, bobbles.
Yeah.
This is, I think, back to your bobble hat reference.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel this is the kind of phone-in that one might find on a radio show, I suppose is what I'm trying to say.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep. There's an elasticated circle, which a ponytail in order is to keep.
Right, if you
to change the syntax, but I got a rhyme out of it in the end. I'm pleased with that.
If you put hair bubbles into Google, a thing with
If
bubbles
you do that,
on,
the whole machinery of your computer will become messed up. There'll be hair, there'll be elastication, there'll be pigger! There'll be all pigger!
the thing comes up with bubbles on. So a hair bubble is a thing with bubbles on.
Thing with bubbles on. These are just elasticated circles. I won't say it again.
And if you put a hairband
all my life's an elasticated circle.
You could bring out some elasticated Frank Skinner merchandise, elasticated circles
I
for
could
ladies.
bring out lots of things. If only it was the best in other people. Anyway, our guest is Tim Vine today. Thank God, the comedy cavalry's turning up to rescue this hell of a show.
Absolute Radio.
Magnificent. That was the Fall with Hot Cake. And Tim Vine has arrived.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Tim. It's great to see you.
I'm a big fan of The Fall, actually.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am. Although I like their earlier stuff.
Oh, you're one of those. You're what Marquis Smith calls a look-back bore.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's quite
Look
resentful.
back ball!
Look back ball! Yeah.
I once saw him walking in Notting Hill, and I sort of scurried after him, trying to recite
Brave.
lyrics to him to make him think I was a proper fan.
Brave.
And,
How did he respond?
yeah, I think he just went like that. and kind of
that
walked
was
away.
him. It's definitely him.
Yeah. I think I said Eldridge House to him, because I remember him once going, Eldridge House, in a song, and I had no idea why he did it, but... So I think I just went, Eldridge House!
I wonder if you remembered that.
I don't think so, he must get that all the time.
That specific thing.
Yeah, you know, people shout out things like, I don't believe it, at Richard Wilson. They shout out Eldridge House at Marquis Smith. Can you take away my hot cake, please? So, Tim, you're, what are you up to? You're a busy man always. Whenever I see you, you have 3 or 4 things on the go.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, that's mind you, I've only seen you, I think, twice in my life, so
Yeah,
that means I've only ever had 3 or 4 things on the go.
Well, no, I can't.
You know.
You probably did all the other times as well.
Yeah, no, I've just been touring with a show called The Joker-Motive, which is kind of me doing lots of jokes, as
Yes.
you'd imagine. And
Yes.
then, and I'm going to do it in Edinburgh. That's really, and I'm working on a joke book. That's kind of what's making up my.
It's
time at
jokes
the moment.
mainly, isn't it?
It's mainly jokes. Yeah.
Because you are, I think it's fair to say you are a joke machine, Tim.
Well, I suppose.
I don't mean that
I'm a
in a bad
human
way.
too. I have
Oh, I
feelings.
know that. I know. I realise that, but
I did hear the peaches thing on the way up here, and I thought pain him a nectarine. I thought that might be good.
you see, if ever the comedy work dries up, which I know it won't, you could walk into any tabloid and
I've
say,
had 2 hours to think of that. In fairness,
No, but I think that's very good. We were talking earlier that Peaches Geldof had a nip slip incident. I think
Right.
incident's the word.
see, pain him a nectarine is not really accurate. Then is it? As a description of what happened.
It's
Maybe
a general
but I
comment
love
on
it.
her.
It has
Oh,
a
I see, it's a general-
it
yeah,
has a
yeah.
It has a pre-Raphaelite nature to it, which one doesn't hear applied to Peaches Geldof nearly enough.
No.
I always think. So, there might be people, I know this is unlikely, Tim, who haven't seen your work.
No, there'll be lots. Yeah.
No, I don't think there will, because a lot of comedy aficionados listen to this show.
Right.
Could you explain the Tim Vine experience? It's quite unique, I think.
Well, I tend to do lots of short jokes, so I kind of, I mean, as an example, Velcro, what a rip-off. It's that sort of thing, over and over again.
I find with you that the way it's timed is that my previous laugh has not stopped when my next one started.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they miss every other joke, which means they've got to come and see me twice, which is quite good, really.
That's good, and they had to arrive slightly earlier.
Yeah, exactly. They have to block their ears for the first joke.
This would be rubbish if you get onto that and just hearing the jokes you've already heard.
Yeah,
and missing the others.
Some of my jokes make people miss every other joke.
What, you mean they walk out the room? How do you mean?
Yeah, no, like long for every other joke.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right.
That was too complicated. I needed a pencil and paper with. I don't like jokes I need a pencil and paper with. I've told you that before.
This is what I want to ask.
This is not about you. Right. Oh, sorry, you're going to ask Tim a question. Yeah. That's good. Sorry.
How do you write a joke?
Yeah, well, could you tell him that? Oh, shut up!
Well, I tend to. Well, with wordplay, so I tend to work backwards, but that's probably the way most people do it. Exactly. Yeah. I did that joke last night, actually. Someone said they were. No, what was it? No, it was a couple of nights ago. I was doing a raffle or something, and they said, "Can I read out the results in reverse order?" And so I did, which is the same joke but with a different start. Yeah,
I didn't say it was original.
No, mine wasn't either.
Don't get.
So as in, I might hear a phrase like, I don't know. I heard a phrase like "serves him right," and I think to myself, a friend of mine's got a butler whose left arm is missing. Serves him right. Work back from the punchline.
It can't be that easy, else everyone would be doing it. Clearly, you have.
Sometimes. Well, the fact is, sometimes you hear a phrase like. I mean, I've heard the phrase "serves him right" my whole life, and yet for some reason, it just suddenly dawned on me that there could be a different meaning to it recently. So it shows there's stuff out there that just reveals itself.
Well, there's a lot of English language you haven't.
Well, hopefully, I do slightly wonder whether I'm beginning to run out, but anyway.
Oh, well, that's a bit.
I mean, now, running out now.
Oh, at this moment. Yeah. Oh, God. I ran out at 7:42. 7:38.
You said I was listening earlier on this morning, and you said that you were extremely funny earlier on at 7:40.
Pre-show.
But I thought you were about to tell a story about something that happened then. That made you extremely funny.
I was just telling. Well.
Oh, I see. You said something happened to me, and I was extremely funny earlier on.
No, I don't. When I say something happened to me,
we were all gripped.
No, you see, I thought something happened to me in a cosmic way, and I became as funny as I've ever been in my life. But it was all off air.
Ah, I see. I thought you meant it was something.
No, it wasn't. If I knew that, I could in some way recreate it and get that comedy.
I'm sorry I brought it up because it's.
No, it was my best ever stuff.
Right.
Off air, two people. Quite tense about going on the radio, weren't even listening to me, and it was pouring out to me like windfall fruit dropping off a tree.
Right.
I wish you'd been there, Tim. You'd have laughed your head off.
Sounds great.
What I needed was an amanuensis.
What's that?
It's a person who writes stuff down for you.
God, that's very good.
Secretary.
Is that as good as amanuensis? I don't. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about Tim Vine, and we'll be back with more
Secretary,
of him.
Not my type.
He can't stop.
Absolute Radio.
Tim Vine is with us in the studio. We love Tim Vine.
Thanks.
Tim, you won Celebrity Mastermind.
Yeah, well, I won the episode I was in. Yeah, you didn't sort of win it and then go to other heats. So yeah, I beat 4 people.
Who did you beat?
Ian Lavender, Rick Wakeman, and Phil Daniels.
Wasn't some sort of middle-aged men special?
That's what most television is, isn't it?
And your specialist subject was Elvis Presley.
It was Elvis Presley, yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, I'd like to have a crack at that on the... Try us on a question, Tim. Try us one of your questions, see if I can get it.
OK, well, what was his last #1 in America?
Well, Thingy went to #1 way down after he died. So I'm
his last #1 in America might surprise you. It was Suspicious Minds in about 1969, I think.
So we didn't even have a #1 after he died?
No, not in America, no.
What have you got to do to please these people? And was that one of the ones you got right?
That was one I got right, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
But it's because, I mean, you get told what... I was reading this book called The Elvis Encyclopedia, which was basically had details like, June the 2nd, 1963, Elvis had a swim. It has absolutely everything in it. And they told me they were going to get...
I have that book, I have
Do you?
Yeah,
yes,
I own up.
Yeah, me too. But they said they're going to get the questions from there. So in that case, you sort of revise as though it were a textbook. So, you know, it's probably fortunate that I wouldn't have known that particularly until I'd sort of looked into that.
No, but at least you worked at it, and it's a broad subject. I mean, Mylene Class did the second series of Sex in the City. That was her specialist subject. I mean, Sex in the City
not that many
allowed, but all you have to do is buy a box set, and you can do Mastermind.
That's true. I had all the Elvis films.
Did you?
Well, I mean, that was included. I mean, that's more than the second series of Sex and the City right there, isn't it?
Exactly. What was his character name in J-Lo's Rock?
Was it Deke Rivers?
No, it was Vince Everett.
Oh!
Hey! I think Deke Rivers might have been Loving You.
Yeah, maybe it was, yeah.
I will spend... That was good.
You're not going to play the rest of that record? Oh, that was you.
That was me. That was actually me, just doing it with my mouse. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, we're not here to talk about Elvis.
But I got two questions, just before we move on from Elvis, I got two questions wrong.
I'll talk about Elvis all day, I'm worried about the listeners.
No, that's true, yeah. But I got two questions wrong that I thought were trick questions, actually the most easy questions. So one of them was, what was the name of the house he bought in Memphis for $100,000? Now, everyone says Gracelands.
Yes.
And I said Audubon Drive or something.
You got overly clever.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one was, which was the name of his manager who got a deal in RCA, and obviously it was Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah.
And I said Bob Neal. So,
which I think was his first sort of semi-half manager DJ.
I think it was kind of, yeah. Yes. But you're right, I can feel people tuning out of this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, to hell with them. Let them go and listen to Chris Evans if that's the kind of stuff they want. So, anyway, Chris Evans, I have to say, obviously he's a very fine broadcaster. He hosted the Sonys, and he had a go at... He had a go at Absolute for not having enough listeners. Can you believe that?
Did he really?
It's all very well to sit on your ivory tower bit at Radio 2.
Yeah.
It's quality, isn't it? That counts.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Back me up on this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I won't plug your new joke book.
I agree with you. I'll tell you what.
You're writing a joke book at the moment.
I am. Yeah, it's got to have 1,000 of my jokes in it. So
truth.
Yeah, and I didn't want to use anything from the last two tours either. So I've had to kind of go through my kind of back catalogue, a cupboard under the stairs with books full of stuff written in it.
And do you have 1,000 jokes?
Well, I've now compiled it. Yeah, I've compiled 1,000.
Have you any idea how many jokes you've written?
Well, certainly 1,000.
But it's got to be more than that, because you've got 2 whole shows you haven't even touched upon.
Yeah, so it's a bit more than that, yeah, probably, yeah. But I mean, I did have to go scraping around for the 1,000, I must say. I was getting VHSs.
Don't, that's no way of plugging the book.
No, I know. But you know what, as well, I went through some stuff that I thought, well, you know, the big selection of postcards where I'd written jokes that, you know, didn't work live. I thought, I'll have some of those.
Again, not the way to plug the book.
Can't get heckled with a book, can you? Well, you can. It might be quite delayed. Read your book, it's rubbish. You get that some days afterwards, you know.
It would be that preemptive heckling which is based on not buying it.
Oh, that's
what I'm worried about. That's what I'm trying to steer you away from, Tim.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Tim Vine is with us.
Yes, you know, I went to a football match the other day, and at the end they started doing martial arts. I said to Brett next person, "What's going on?" He said, "There's 2 minutes of ninjury time." I thought it was time for a joke for me.
Forgive me. So, you should really, if you've never seen Tim Vine, you should go. And you're on Tuesday night. They can go and see you Tuesday night.
Yes, but you know where that is. I'm not exactly sure where it is.
You don't know. You just, what happens? How do you get there, then?
I think it's part of something called a Pentecost festival. Pentecost, that's the spirit.
Yeah.
So I don't know quite where I am, but I think I'm doing jokes.
Well, look, Tuesday the 18th of May at the Metro Club and Bar in London as part of the Pentecost Festival. The Metro Club and Bar, you can go and see Tim. And now, Tim, I have a tendency to pon.
Yeah, I've noticed.
As does Gareth. Yeah. I mean, I can't stop it. Some people are just wired that way, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But I think what you actually probably have is that you have a tendency just to tell jokes, and it's just that some of them come out as puns, isn't it? Because, I mean, you do, don't you, have a tendency to tell jokes?
Yeah,
it's your thing,
I know.
Isn't it?
Many people listening will think, oh, I wonder when that happened.
7:38 this morning.
Oh, dear. Funny they'd been there then. Well, yeah, but I do think there are some people, a lot of people, they disparage the pun, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that most people, when they say them, well, in conversation, sometimes people say them as an apology, and it can be, they'll say, I've got a friend, actually, sort of occasionally will chuck one in and then go, oh, sorry. And if you apologise immediately after saying something, then it's not going to get a laugh.
No.
It's encouraging a groan, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But
You've got to front it out, I find. I've really had to front out my accent.
Well, you front it out. I love that, though, because you wear the pond proudly. I don't know what it is. I find myself apologising for ponds. Why should the pond, of all forms of comedy, get that low status?
I don't know. Well, I've heard people say sometimes with some puns, it's just simply all you get with some puns is just the wordplay. It doesn't create any image in your head. It's just simply you've twisted a word around, and that's what people go like that for.
Right.
Like that sometimes. But it might be that John Cleese thing, because he said no puns, no puns, no puns. It was his 3 rules of comedy, wasn't it?
Is that right?
Yeah, he said no puns, no puns, no puns. God. Mine's puns, puns, puns. It's the complete opposite.
Well, you've flown in the face of John Cleese's advice.
Well, there's something to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, you got the joke book, you're going to do Edinburgh. And you famously didn't do Edinburgh one year.
Yes, and I put a big poster up, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. An enormous billboard of you saying Tim Vine, and then in small letters, will not be doing Edinburgh this year. Why did you do that?
Well, because I was planning on going up that year, actually, and the previous year I'd seen that massive billboard, and Omid Jalili was up there, and I said to the guy who's promoting my show, I said, that's a massive poster. Please, can I be on there next year? Can we Bagsy me for that next year? But it's so massive. I just thought it looked great.
Right.
And so he's kind of Bagsied it ahead of time.
But you had to pay for it, did you?
Well, yeah, I had to pay for it. Yeah, but I could have got out of it. But then once I'd Bagsied that, I said, well, let's keep it anyway, you know. Because it was just so... I just really liked the size of it. It was just so enormous. Yeah. But I never actually got up to go and see it. I've seen photos of it, but I never...
Because you weren't there that year.
Well, I wasn't there. You know, I suppose it would have spoilt it if I was. Spotted there looking at the poster.
Yeah, exactly. See, if that photo would be on the internet, what a sham they would have thought you were. It was a great thing to do that. So you'll be in Edinburgh this year for the whole thing?
I will be, yeah.
Where are you at?
The Pleasance.
Oh, right, that's lovely.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
So I very much recommend, if anyone's in Edinburgh or if they're in London this Tuesday, to go and see Tim Vine, and you will laugh, because I think the joke itself sometimes can be slightly denigrated.
I agree. 3 cheers for rap music, hip hop.
We're not going to follow that. Let's face it. So thank you very much, Tim. It's lovely. I never even got a chance to ask you about the Lee Mac darts tournament that he spoke about last time he was on.
Yeah, but I don't think he did it this year. Did he? Unless I wasn't invited.
I think it's just you and him. So
well,
I think
it's me and him who take it very seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
We both we stand the two of us like shaking with nerves because it matters so much, and then other comics just going, "What's the matter with those two?"
Well, I told him I told him I wanted to be in it, and he started questioning me about how often I played and stuff like that.
You get through the
qualification. Yeah, exactly. He's very strict. Anyway, Tim, it's lovely talking to you. Go and see Tim Vine.
Saturday morning!
Ben Jones is on next. He's already next door and looking up for it. He's talking to our newsreader, Sean Allen Moy, who I must say sits the opposite side of me, listening to the show, never laughs ever. I always think that maybe Absolute put him there as a sort of a try-harder tactic. Never laughs, never.
He's thinking about the news. He's thinking about serious things.
He's thinking about the
Serious
news. I know what he's
issues.
thinking about. What happened to Neil Francis? That's what he's thinking about. No, they stick together. Don't worry about that. Anyway, it's Rolling Stones weekend on, this weekend. You'll have noticed by the amount of Rolling Stones stuff I've been playing. In absolute terms, the weekend is Sunday. And Mick Jagger is coming along. I imagine Ronnie Wood will have his man-ogs on.
Mugs.
He loves a man-og.
It's nice to see them doing something again.
I'm not saying he loves a man-hog. I'm not saying that about him. I think we know what he likes, Ronnie. I like to be on the same station as Ronnie. That makes me proud. Anyway, I had a bit of a strange adventure last Saturday night. I went to see the Hollywood superstar and musicals queen, Julie Andrews, at the O2 Centre.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes.
Mary Poppins.
Yes. I was hoping she would be flown in on an umbrella. I mean, you know, she's 74, but so what? No one would have looked up if that's what she was worried about.
Not that kind of party.
No. But she didn't do that. I went by boat with my manager, and he has his own boat. It's more of an elaborate barge. Oh, Furion. And there was a terrible mix-up on the way. Went to the stop, because it's like, up and down the Thames, the River Thames, which runs through London. Some of you may know, some of you may not. If you don't know what a hairband's called, you're hardly going to know that. Anyway, just had a text from my girlfriend saying, it's odd you said that thing about hairbands, because I can never find one. Isn't that what living together's all about? Anyway, we got on. We got to the boat place, and then where they stop, and the man said the boat doesn't stop here. It stops on the other side of the river. And we could see the boat there, and there was like 30 seconds to go, and I said, that's it, we're going to miss Julie Andrews. There was tears in my eyes. I wouldn't say I was crying, but they were in my eyes. And the bloke said, well, jump on, I'll give you a lift. And he turned this enormous boat. Yeah. Did I not mention he was a dolphin? Anyway, he turned the boat, he turned it right, and it went across the river, and the other boat, he found across, and the other boat waited for us.
Wow.
It was great, it's like being royalty. And the people on the boat said, we're going the wrong way, aren't we? We're going the wrong way.
I thought you were pirates.
Yeah, exactly. We thought that the Somalis had turned up. And we turned it round, and we got that, they had to wait for us, and we got on that boat, so it was very exciting. Anyway, we got to the O2, someone said to me, Liz Taylor's in a box. Well, I thought it was a newsflash. But I thought, what a strange way of putting it. Is that supposed to break me in gently? Anyway, she was in our box.
No way.
Liz Taylor was in our box, in a wheelchair.
Oh, no.
In a wheelchair in a box. It was a Russian doll, kind of. And she looked... I wouldn't say, she's old, Liz Taylor, and she's in a wheelchair, and her head slightly hangs to it lolls. That's the word, to one side. But she had a lovely brocade top on,
a gown,
and diamonds all over her. I mean, she was encrusted. And as I say, also there were lots of diamonds on her as well. So, of course, she said, I was happy to just sit and look at her. I pulled up a chair next to the wheelchair, got some popcorn, settled down, and then her mind has moved me along. But she was there anyway. The show started, and the thing is with Julie Andrews, she had an operation on her voice some years ago that didn't go that well.
Botched. The word
it was botched.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been legally established, but I doubt if that surgeon listens here. And the top end of her voice has gone, is what happened. So, she sang Getting to Know You, getting to know you, getting to know. So she went, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. And it was like that. But she hardly sang at all. She had 4 terrible people from Broadway who did all the songs. And then the show ended. She said in the second half, great news, something new is what she said. Something new. She said, my daughter and I wrote a children's book, and... the man here, the composer bloke at the back, the conductor, has written a fabulous score for it, and we will premiere Simeon's Gift. So the second half was this terrible...
As in a monkey?
Not a Simeon gift. Yeah. No, Simeon as in the name of a person. Yeah.
Simeon's Gift.
Not a Simeon gift like someone who can peel a banana with their feet. That would be a Simeon gift. I think that's what you're getting at. No, everyone had opposing thumbs. I'm not suggesting that wasn't the case. But it was terrible. People were leaving. It was embarrassing because it was Julie Andrews was just sitting in an armchair watching it on stage and narrating bits. I've never seen an evening like it in my life. Had I had an English longbow, I would have taken her out. And it was about 500 quid a ticket, and I didn't pay, obviously. And I went home. I missed the boat. I went home on Lizzie's lap. And I have to say, as cushions go, it was like a bag full of dead sparrows.
Was there nothing positive in your evening? You
Nothing.
got to sit next to Liz Taylor.
Well, yeah, but if they're in a wheelchair, that doesn't even count as sitting next to them, really. They're in a form of transport. That doesn't count. Anyway, that's my story. Went well in here. Sean Allen Moy, nothing. Next door. Anyway, Ben Jones is on next, and this is the last song, obviously, because Ben Jones is on next. Thank you very much, Laura, for sitting in today for Emily.
Well, it's a pleasure.
And it's lovely to see you, and we'll all be back next week with Madame, if she gets back from Mauritius. Good day to you.
Absolute Radio.